Coming up on 219 West, we go to the South Bronx where households have been struggling to stay connected. These days, no Wi-Fi can mean no vaccine appointments.
There is going to be impact on older people who miss their window.
When 46-year-old George Floyd was killed by the police a year ago, the world erupted in protest. Advocates speak out about the physical and mental impact of racial trauma.
It's not like racism ever went away. It's just being more broadcasted. And it's really our reality.
And of course, dance venues had to close their doors this year, but we'll meet some dancers who persevered and despite the pandemic, kept moving. Welcome to this edition of 219 West. I'm Megan Caceres.
And I'm Cheyenne Harris. No one was more neglected during the COVID-19 pandemic than prisoners across the country. But while some in New York suffered, they also benefited in a surprising way. Buzz von Ornsteiner has our story.
It seemed that when I was going home, no one even seemed to care. No one even cared. People don't care. They see you, but they don't see you. They don't know you. I don't know them. And what can you do?
At age 56, Robert McCoy had spent much of his life in upstate prisons. In the 1980s, he started using crack, then selling it. Last January, he was out on probation when he got into trouble again. This time, Robert was sentenced to a drug treatment program, but he wouldn't go. So he was in jail when the pandemic hit.
On March 19th, I woke up and I had a booming fever and a dry cough. And I said, oh no, I hope I don't got it. But I kept my mouth shut because if I told anyone, I said, these people are going to bury me under the jail. So I kept my mouth shut. I drank plenty of fluids. In 12 hours, the fever was gone. My cough was gone, but I couldn't speak for up to 7 days. And that was after I got up. 9 days later, on March 28th, they let me go because of COVID issues and because of the social distancing spacing. They let a lot of people go.
Last spring, hundreds of New York State inmates like Robert fell ill with COVID-19, so the state released 3,000 inmates early to save their lives. But what began as a compassionate act would spark a fierce debate over how generous and empathetic traditionally liberal New York City residents really are.
When I got back to New York, I went, it's called Bellevue, on First Avenue, right next to Bellevue Hospital. The process was terrible. They had me processed till 4 o'clock in the morning. I think I got a bed 5 o'clock, and then they woke me up at 8 o'clock saying I had to leave. You stay 1-2 days, and then they send you out to Ward's Island, up on 125th Street. A terrible place, terrible. Those are big dormitories with hundreds of men, parked less than 2 feet next to each other.
Back in New York City, Robert went from one crowded men's shelter to another. Eventually, the city realized COVID was here to stay, and with shelters lacking basic protection from the pandemic, 10,000 homeless men and women were placed in hotel rooms where they could socially distance and self-quarantine. Among them were those suffering with mental illness, those in recovery, and like Robert, the formerly incarcerated.
They put everyone in hotel rooms. I'm talking to you from my hotel room now. You can take a look at it.
The residents of these hotels are now an everyday sight in New York City's upscale neighborhoods. Being idle is a struggle for Robert.
I wanted to make sure that I stayed away from drugs, and I would be able to build a good contact of people to communicate with.
And he's got dreams of a new life. Like everyone, Robert longs for a place of his own.
I would like to be inside of an apartment and able to hold up my end of the apartment and just take it easy.
That's the only thing I look forward to doing. Getting in a place where I can just stay and do my music, maybe entertain friends, be good. My own place is even better because I can close the door, I can turn on the TV, I can shower when I want, cook what I want, do the things that I like, just produce, just make songs. I was looking at a keyboard yesterday, and I think I want to go ahead and just write and write. Talk to people, sell work, get my work out there, get it known. Commercial music, movie music, video music.
Faced with COVID cases on the rise and a fear of reinfection, Robert waits in his single hotel room where he's able to quarantine, not only to protect himself, but also the larger community. That's a gift, not just for Robert, but to all of us, says psychiatric nurse practitioner Caitlin Latronica.
For not only them, but for the community at large, because the more that we can stop the spread in that population, then the more also we're helping our communities. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, we have to remember that these people, you know, no matter what they have done or what, you know, offenses that they've, you know, committed and served time for, they're still a part of our community. And, you know, whatever happens to them is going to continue to have repercussions and ripple effects to all of us.
But New Yorkers are emotionally and financially drained by the pandemic, and some are saying the $300 million cost for the next 6 months on hotel rooms for individuals like Robert is just too high.
I think they're just wasting a lot of money on that. They're just spending money, but they don't really have any answers for it. This is their best answer that they could come up with.
Michael Cucchiaro, a retired Staten Island police officer who continues to suffer from 9/11 exposure, doesn't agree with the city's plan to house the homeless in empty hotels.
$400 million is a lot of money. It's not, you know, chump change.
For Cucchiaro, it's just another sign of city spending with no actual plan.
Why are we giving all these homeless and the prisoners all this money when they have already done time in jail? Instead of giving it to the people that actually really need it, the people that are losing their homes, that will become homeless. Let's not make them homeless. Let's give them the money to add to their mortgages and giving it to the people that are working hard to want to stay in this city. They're making it too expensive for everybody to stay here because they're giving it to all the people that are in trouble with the law and, again, with the drugs. They're giving all the money to them, and they're not giving any money back.
And on the Upper West Side, housing the homeless in the Hotel Lucerne for Warren Pavon is wrong.
No, they should go to the Armory. They should go to government-owned buildings, not privately owned buildings. If I was the owner of that Lucerne right now, I would have a picket outside of that building. You wouldn't have one homeless guy in my building, right? There's all kinds. There's the Armory. There's the Javits Center. There's all kinds of government and city-owned buildings that you could put these people in. Who is de Blasio to tell the guy who owns the Lucerne that he's putting all those homeless people in there, right? And I'm telling you, it's by design, right? It's by design because, de Blasio is the Peter Pan to all the people who haven't been able to put forth the effort and the desire and the determination to get knocked down 1,000 times and get up 1,001 and keep trying, like New Yorkers do.
Another resident in the area sees the homeless and the hotel placement differently.
I mean, these are such difficult times for so many people, and we're treating these men like pawns, as if we can just rip them from one place to another. And if the argument against having the men here, if the argument is that they pose a danger to the neighborhood, if that's what the argument is, then why are they better off in a different neighborhood in New York? People claim it's not NIMBY, it's not a not in my backyard, but then they're saying, oh, but put them in another person's backyard. Like they're just pawns.
For Robert's social worker, Susanna Carlin, she sees the high cost for ongoing support as a good investment.
It may seem like a lot of money, but it's a great investment for our community. For Robert and people like Robert, it's a good investment because they're part of our community.
Lately, I do nothing. I stay in. But when I do go out, I'll sometimes go to my aunt's house. I am afraid of being reinfected. And thank goodness I have none of the symptoms connected with the March 19th infection. So what I do is I just stay to myself.
In spite of everything, Robert considers himself lucky. Having been awarded a city-funded apartment, he currently waits for his move-in date and continues to protect himself from COVID.
Yep, I'm a survivor. I've survived all these years of being in parks like this, using, selling, staying in subways. I have survived, and I went through so much other stuff. I gotta get through this. It's easy.
At least 23% of Hunts Point households do not have internet access. Now it's become essential to life during the pandemic, especially when booking vaccine appointments. One group is trying to change that. Here's a story. For Hunts Point residents, this little device can save lives. This was a lesson that they learned the hard way in 2012 during Hurricane Sandy.
We were lucky during Sandy, but that was like a wake-up call.
A wake-up call about how necessary internet connectivity is.
You know, our South Bronx resiliency agenda was really based off like climate-related disasters, not coronavirus, right? Like not COVID-19. However, it made sense during COVID-19 and it like worked well.
The virus has moved internet connectivity back to the top of the neighborhood's priorities. Most vaccine appointments are booked online, people are working remotely, and kids are attending school at home.
You know, we really did this as part of our environmental justice work and understanding and knowing and believing that the Hunts Point community can own its infrastructure.
Sharon De La Cruz is the Director of Sustainability at the Point CDC, a nonprofit organization that is installing its own wireless Wi-Fi network in Hunts Point.
We know that it is definitely a need.
These small devices or nodes can be placed on the roofs or windows of local homes or businesses. The network allows Wi-Fi to be shared even without internet access. The system has been up since 2017, establishing a trustworthy and reliable system that neighbors can use during the pandemic.
We are not trying to create a Google. We are trying to communicate.
Alejandra is a graphic designer with The Point, who worked on creating a landing page for users to access important information in times of crisis.
When I started with this project was basically to create a page for the community, the Hunts Point YC, where we can inform the community of anything related to emergency.
Now she will also be installing a node in her home to expand the network. This process involves undergoing trainings and working with the digital stewards who provide technical support to their system.
Every time I learn a little bit, I get more confident to learn a little more.
So how does this impact the vaccine rollout?
Well, we don't have enough seniors, signing up, or folks who are eligible signing up, who tend to be the most vulnerable, right? But the most vulnerable usually can't tap into a network.
Even Sharon expressed how difficult it was to schedule an appointment for her mother. It took hours of refreshing the page to successfully reserve her appointment.
More hesitancy is coming from the design of the website, the design of the rollout, right? More than someone just being hesitant because of U.S. history, medical history.
Without internet access, Hunts Point residents who are eligible for the vaccine are being excluded.
So people who have internet, have people willing to help them, they're able to get in line quicker. So there is going to be impact on older people who miss their window.
Researcher Jack Barry has spent his career focusing on how communication and technology affect the development of low-income communities. And ultimately, he hopes that governments recognize that internet access is an essential service.
If they're not providing access, they're not really realizing this human right.
According to the New York City Health website, only 13% of eligible Hunts Point residents have received their first dose. 7% have been fully vaccinated.
inherently it was unfair to them because they weren't good at signing up online or their online skills, they didn't get it as quick as they could have. So that part is kind of, again, like the pandemic exacerbated these inequalities that were already there.
Organizations like the Point CDC are doing their best to help local residents with these inequalities.
We have all these things set against us in Hunts Point. However, the Point is thinking through these problems not just as something that like we're waiting to be serviced for, but rather like how do we again own infrastructure.
We're nearing almost a year since the murder of George Floyd and a summer of protests that marked history. The toll police brutality and racism has had on African Americans and people of color in this country is steadily growing. With the trial of the police officer charged with killing George Floyd, many Black Americans have been reliving that summer of trauma. In late May, nationwide outrage spread across many cities and countries after 46-year-old George Floyd, an unarmed Black man, was choked to death in Minneapolis, Minnesota, by a white police officer. For many African Americans, this was not the first time witnessing injustice take place in America. Black men and women have died at the hands of police brutality for decades. Racism, bias, and police violence against minorities has been a long-term issue that has caused mental, emotional, and psychological trauma in many Black people.
We're experiencing racial trauma right now, and it's one of those things that keeps happening repeatedly with very little space and time to really heal. And I remember thinking that, from January, I felt like every month there was something big happening, and there wasn't time to breathe and collect ourselves. As Black people, we've had to deal with discrimination for as long as we can remember, right? We've had to have conversations about, what are certain things that you need to do in order to stay out of trouble, to not bring unwanted attention to yourself. We've been told that you have to be twice as good, just to get to a place that maybe your white counterparts wouldn't have to work as hard for, right? Or be as educated or as talented.
Protesters spoke out against the excessive use of police force and called on government officials to start holding officers accountable. Members of the Black Lives Matter movement highlighted the impact racial tensions in the country continue to have on the mental health of Black Americans.
It's not like racism ever went away. It's just being more broadcasted, and it's really our reality because it could happen to any one of us, and it's disgusting. Like, it really angers me, and I shouldn't feel the way I feel about police, but I do, and they're supposed to be the ones that's supposed to be protecting and serving. And if something ever happened to me, they're supposed to be the ones that I call.
The rate of Black Americans with symptoms of anxiety and depression disorders increased from 36% to 41% just a week after the protests began.
I think we've got, generational trauma to deal with. We've got the racial tension that's coming up because of people feeling more emboldened and courageous in their racist beliefs and ideas, and also the aspect of police brutality. Engaging in self-care is really important. So you have to figure out what are the things that kind of bring you back to baseline when you're feeling anxious.
I'm Cheyenne Harris.
As New York's restaurant industry struggles to survive, Mojo Mexican Grill in Bayside, Queens has reopened and is a roaring success. This may be attributed to our passion for Mexican cuisine.
Bell Boulevard, Bayside, Queens. Mojo Mexican Grill, a new fast casual joint, opened up in October during the global COVID-19 pandemic, a time where restaurants across New York City are struggling. Moji Marabi, the store owner, is up for the challenge.
There was a lot of obstacles going on, and there was a lot of uncertainty with the economy and the lockdown and how everything was going to play out. But I believed in my idea,
Their opening day saw 400 to 500 customers, which is 3 times better than Mojib had expected.
The line was about a block and a half long, and we had an hour, 45-minute wait.
Part of the success of Mojo is their decision to only serve halal meat. Chain Mexican restaurants, including Chipotle and Qdoba, do not serve halal meat.
I would always wanted to try the meat and I couldn't, because of my faith and my beliefs. So I would always go with the vegetarian option. And I know for sure that I'm not the only Muslim that felt that way.
Mariama Saleh, one of Mojo's burrito artists, enjoys Mojo's food herself without worrying if what she's eating is halal or not as a Muslim.
Sometimes I still forget. Like I'll be making something and I'm like, oh my God, wait, I forgot I could eat it.
Mojo takes pride in the halal food they serve the community. They use quality meat, fresh queso, and freshly sliced vegetables.
Almost everything we make it here. From salads, from salsas, from our queso, from our prepping, everything is on the house.
Everybody loves the meat, like the quality of the food. And even people that I know that eat at Chipotle and Qdoba, they say they love the meat over here. It's very fresh. We don't leave anything sitting out.
Bayside needed this place, right? Bayside needed this place. Oh, yeah.
Their popular dishes, including birria tacos and elote corn, are keeping business flowing.
Performing arts have long kept New York City at the forefront of the world. From Broadway to Lincoln Center, our city stages went pitch dark when COVID-19 changed the world. Performers have since adapted and found new ways to bring their art to life. Natalie Hernandez has more on a dancer's journey.
Dancers tell mesmerizing stories through movements that ebb and flow and bring strong emotions to an audience. Anna Carey Cruz was a contemporary dance student at the famous Broadway Dance Center and at Hunter College. When the pandemic hit, she had to pivot to online classes and performances.
Well, my role did a 360 once everything went virtual, and it was just really hard. Like, it was hard to feel motivated. It was hard to feel like you were doing something that was worth watching.
From Zoom classes
It's flowing too. It's flowing, but it's like
to choreographing performances virtually.
It's not like sharp. It's just like you're trying to get somewhere.
Cruz's passion for dance never went away, with the pandemic only inspiring her more.
I was getting used to like just training every day and going from school to work to training. What kept me going was dancing. Like, I was dancing through it all, and I was just like, I just need to keep dancing because I may not know what's happening, but I do know that I want to dance.
And so dance she did. Cruz was not alone in trying to navigate an in-person performance-free world. Her mentor, experienced dancer and teacher at prestigious Broadway Dance Center and Pace University, Ginger Cox, says that teaching classes and motivating her students was not an easy feat.
Sometimes you get so isolated in your teeny little box, and it's hard, and you don't feel that you're being observed, because in dance class, some of that beautiful relationship with the teacher is the observation, and the other students, when we watch each other and we learn so much from each other. And on this platform, that's challenging.
The lack of in-person classes and pressure to feel like her work was valuable during the pandemic began to take a toll on Cruz, especially with performing and filming herself at home, and she became depressed.
Really looking at myself dance and choosing which clip looks better for, an assignment, or choosing where I look skinnier or taller or my line took longer. It's a lot, and it's a lot to deal with when you have that pressure of I need to be good. And we're told that we should dance from the heart and not to worry about what people think, but a lot of dance does rely on that. Dance relies on what people think of you. So that I think that's why it's important to find a community.
Cox says her heart goes out to dancers who thrive off of audiences, and she hopes that her students feel supported and are able to look forward to the future.
It isn't easy for dancers because dancers have been like, well, my moment to shine has been squashed. How am I going to do this? And I think this is a temporary moment, or this moment in time is temporary as is any moment, and it is changing, and we do have to adapt to that change, or we're going to try to go back into the past, and that's just not possible.
Cruz hopes that by being open about her own mental health struggles throughout the pandemic, she can spark the discussion amongst her fellow dancers going through the same thing.
But because it's not normalized, mental health is not something dancers talk about. It's hard to do that. It's a process and a journey. And I feel like the more we talk about it as dancers, the more normalized it'll become, hopefully.
During the pandemic, Cruz and Cox worked together to create some movement magic. Cox says Cruz made her classes a positive experience for all students.
How they felt about that, or how they felt when they came into the room, was really important, because that energy that we created was resonating out to those dancers. So she was really helpful in that.
A lot of my creativity and a lot of my motivation during the pandemic came from taking her class. So when she asked me to help her assist, it was like such an accomplishment for me that I didn't think was possible, especially during the pandemic, because I didn't feel like my work was valuable at that time.
Cruz plans on continuing to inspire her fellow dancers to talk about their mental health and to keep on expressing herself through her dance.
Dancing makes me feel like a superwoman. I always say it, and it is honestly the truth.
And the show goes on. For 219 West, Natalie Hernandez.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of 219 West.
We'll see you next time. Enjoy spring as we bloom into a new New York.